Hello world, hello Australia, this is Jamie here to Crypto Koala. Now today guys, I'm going to talk about Acorn Collective. Now today, I've got a special guest. He is the Chief Operations Officer of Acorn Collective. And his name is Edward Lobbett. Now mate, good to have you here with me today. So mate, tell us about yourself.
Thanks very much.
It's good to have you mate.
So I'm the I'm the COO at Acorn. So I'm sort of responsible for trying to make sure it happens with along with Moritz and the rest of the team.
Great stuff, mate. So, mate, tell us a bit about Acorn Collective and what it's all about.
So Acorn Collective is, we're trying to make crowdfunding free to do across the world for any project. So crowdfunding is not exactly as simple as people think it is. I think a lot of people think you just put your project onto Kickstarter or something, that all goes well, you get a load of backers from the Kickstarter community. It's actually a lot more about building your own community for a start, but also about actually getting onto the platform in the first place. So because Kickstarter and Indiegogo and the others, they're all private equity backed, so they need to make a return to their shareholders. So that means they focus on the projects that are going to make them the most money. So for us, what we're trying to do is to open that up. So our early backers are going to be token holders. We're crowdfunding essentially.
Okay.
So basically, what our backers are going to want is they're going to want a really big platform. They're going to want it to be expansive. They're going to want as much utility for the token as possible. So that means that we're having a platform that's completely free to use in any country and for any purpose. So right now, for example, Kickstarter already operates in 22 countries. They're all in the West. Developing countries are shut out. So we want to open it up to developing countries too, and just create a democratized crowdfunding platform.
That sounds really good, mate. So what inspired you to actually get into making Acorn Collective?
So Moritz, actually the CEO, he's not around at the minute, but it was his idea initially, and he was talking. He was an anaesthetist actually. He was a doctor. So, but he had a friend who worked in NGOs, and he sort of invested in cryptocurrencies a bit himself. He was fairly familiar with it, and he was talking to Helen, who's actually on our board as well, about just problems with accessing funding or just trying to create opportunities in developing countries, and started to think about how he could help and what he could do, and created the Acorn platform. It's not just for developing countries. It works just as well in the West. If you want to do a crowdfunding platform, a crowdfund that's in the US or UK or Australia or wherever, you absolutely can. It'll be free, but we wanted to open it up further.
That's really good, mate. So it's good that you mentioned about, so it can be for charities, it can be for, say you want to start up a ICO. So it's sort of really broad.
Actually, the ICOs we don't do. So we're looking at conventional crowdfunding. So,
okay, right, that's good. That's good. You clarified that.
Yeah, well, we get it a lot, actually. A lot of people think we're talking about ICOs too. We're talking about really conventional stuff. So basically, we're operating in just the normal startup space. So the types of project we've got on, for example, there's a honey farm, I think, in Tanzania. There's a bakery in Kenya that wants to be a bakery school as well. There's a project in the US where someone who's a mum wants to start a business producing recipes and helping other mums to feed their kids after school. So it's really cool, just conventional projects from people who are currently kind of shut out of crowdfunding.
Well, that's a really good idea, because you sort of tap into the developing world and the US as well, and sort of the developed countries. So it sounds like you're really broad, and you can really help out the communities in these really poor countries, to help them sort of buy the tools that they need, or to fund education. So just to have a really accessible means and easy means by using blockchain technology is really good. So what made you decide to use blockchain technology?
So we can't really do this without blockchain, because there are two things about the way that we're doing it. Well, the first one is that of the fees that are charged by platforms, 5% of those fees are platform fees, and the other 3.5% to 5% are typically payment fees. So using Stripe or whatever that is. So the payment fees we can pretty much get rid of using blockchain payments. So that's one aspect that's gone. We know there's a bit of capacity problem in the Ethereum network at the moment. We're pretty confident in Ethereum's ability to change it. They seem much more coordinated than Bitcoin, for example. I think congestion there is going to take a little while longer to solve. But so we're confident that blockchain is going to eradicate the payments issue largely. There's still going to be some small gas fees, but the second thing is the ICO itself. So what we need to do is be able to unlink crowdfunding from equity shareholders. So to be able to actually make it free, we need to crowd raise it, and so that means taking an ICO. So blockchain really is, this opportunity has only come up because of blockchain.
So giving you the means to be able to raise the funds, blockchain gives you the means and the capability to do that through an ICO on the Ethereum platform.
That's right.
So what's going to be the long-term plan of Acorn? What's going to be your long-term vision?
So the long-term vision is obviously to create the platform and to take it to market. And there are a couple of interesting things that are happening around that at the moment. The first thing is the actual development for it is now starting. So we're cracking on with it. We've got a really good tech paper that sort of outlines how it's going to be done. We're actually starting to build it as of right now, I think 23rd, 24th, something like that. The developers kick in. Then we've got we've got a pretty good team for that as well. So our CTO is really experienced in platform building, but we've also got a guy called David Ives who's built a crowdfunding platform already. He's built Crowdcube, one of the largest equity crowdfunding platforms in the world. Okay. So he's an advisor and director with us. He's staying on as a non-exec. So one of the things is building that team around the platform, not just for the ICO. The way we're building our team is we're building it actually for the business. So people who are going to stick with us for 12 months or so, that are really significant in their particular areas. We've got a couple of announcements. I hope on Monday, Tuesday next week, we'll be able to announce a new member. He's really cool guy, so we'll be talking about that. The second thing is to build the partnerships that are going to help make it a reality. It's one thing saying you're going to build a global platform. It's quite another actually building the partnerships you need to do that. So we're talking to accelerators across the world. We're already talking to some in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in Kenya, obviously in the UK. Don't think we've had any US conversations yet, but the whole point of this is that we'll have an accelerator network across the globe who are working with us, not only to find projects to put on the platform, but also to make sure those projects have got the best support available locally, and also to regionalize the platform. So in Africa, for example, internet access is basically mobile. It's nearly all mobile. So it's got to be a really friendly platform on mobile. We've got to have a regional accessibility sorted out so everyone really can access the platform, put on projects back really simply. So that's the next stage, and we're starting it right now, is to flesh that out and make sure we understand how it looks as a reality.
Well, it seems like you've taken into consideration with these developing countries the ability to be able to use your app and the ability to be able to get the functionality of it. Also, with your team, it sounds like you have a broad team in development, and you're also looking at expanding your team now and in the future. So you guys seem to be quite busy, and you've got an idea of a vision of where you guys want to go and how you're going to go about doing it. Tell us a bit about your ACO token, mate. So how is the token, how is it going to be used? Or what's the ACO token about, mate?
Well, firstly, some very sad news is that somebody on our Telegram channel pointed out somebody's already listed an ACO token. So we've had to change that to Oak. It's one of the kind of things about decentralized communities is obviously we don't know what ICOs are coming up. So somebody has already created one. So we've changed it to Oak. So welcome to blockchain. But the token basically is a way that people back projects on the platform. So if you're going to come in as a backer, you buy ACO tokens, and then you would back a project using ACO tokens. So that's one place that the token works. Then the project founders can then decide if they want to come out in ACO, local fiat, and other digital currencies. So that's how they can exit the system. So that just sort of puts the tokens back into the system. We've got a liquidity reserve. So if someone raises $500,000 or something and puts it and they exit, that $500,000 doesn't go straight out onto the market. So we've sort of got a few systems in place to reduce volatility. The other thing that you can use the token for is any projects that are post-funded, so they can put their products onto a marketplace and you can buy those products in the marketplace. Because we're using an accelerator network as one of our main channels, we're going to as well have sort of little clusters of projects and backers in one geography. So if you imagine the accelerator in Lahore, for example, might have 4 or 5 projects plus a few others locally. That's going to give a backer network. So we want to increase utility of the token and also help actually to give more data for the businesses locally after they fund it by creating a really simple MPOS system so people can transact locally, so they can exchange ACO in their local community with these projects that have been backed. The last thing is buying Acorn support. So our revenue model is we sell marketing services to the projects rather than making them pay to be on the platform. So they can either buy those or not, and they can buy those in ACO.
Okay. So say I have like some a community in, say, Zimbabwe, and they wanted to build a wooden hut, and I wanted to contribute to their crowdfunding project. So could I send them Acorn tokens? Say if I wanted to, in a wallet or through your platform, I can send them tokens to help them build that project.
That's exactly how it works.
As a charitable contribution.
Yeah, so that's exactly how it works. So all the projects accept tokens, to accept ACO tokens. That's how you back a project. So there are 2 ways of doing it. Obviously, if you've already got some, great, or there'll be a kind of a retail API into an exchange. So it'll feel as though you're in the same platform. You will be in the same platform, but you could go in with fiat, buy some ACO tokens on the platform via an exchange, and then back a project that way. But everyone backs in ACO, yeah.
Okay, mate. So going on to your ICO details now. So tell us a bit about your ICO when you're thinking of having it, and how can people participate in your ICO?
So the way to the first thing is we're starting the ICO pre-sale on Monday, so Monday the 29th. Right. So that's very soon. So people can participate by going to aco.ai. There's loads of documents there as well. They can check those out. There's also our Telegram channel. There's a link to that. Telegram's really nice channel actually for us. It's good fun. There's lots of really decent people in there. So join in the chat if people want to know anything more. And also obviously they can get in touch with us. So get onto aco.ai, join the whitelist, and then you'll get a link through to the actual transaction platform, and you'll be able to take part in the ICO.
Well, guys, the link's down below for the Telegram group, Twitter page, website. Everything you need to gain access will be down below, guys, in the description. So, yeah, check them out, guys. So, mate, Edward, what exchanges, so once you've gone through your ICO stage, what exchanges are you aiming at going towards? So you're based in the UK at the moment. Is there any local ones, or is there any ones that you're sort of really aiming towards?
So I think we're a relatively substantial raise, and we're a very well understood product. So this has some positives and negatives in terms of how easy to understand it is. But for us, we're kind of an easy to understand platform and trying to do a decent raise. So we're not too concerned about whether or not we're going to get listed on an exchange. I think there are a few major exchanges that we sort of have our eye on, and we'll be getting in touch with those, but there's no major traction with that yet. So first, we're going to be announcing exchanges throughout the ICO process, but we won't obviously be on an exchange until we finish the ICO. So that's sort of the major exchanges. You've got a few hoops to jump through with those. So you need big communities. You need to sort of prove that you've got a lot of traction within that community and that sort of volume of buyers. So there's sort of conversations to have in about probably a few weeks' time, maybe a month. That said, there are quite a few. I mean, there are exchanges all the time. So we're already talking to a few smaller exchanges where we can list relatively early. We're also partnering with Bancor as well, which helps token liquidity. So there are quite a few things we're doing around token liquidity. I don't want to sort of claim that we've got an exchange set up, but we're addressing it now. It'll basically be a couple of small exchanges we announced initially, and then some larger ones towards the end of the ICO.
Wonderful, mate. That's really good. So any upcoming conferences, or are you looking at going there? I know recently you guys have come back from Dubai.
Yeah, so we went to Dubai.
Are you guys looking at going, doing any jet setting anytime soon?
we went to Dubai on the 4th, I think, and we got to day 3 of the conference, and we had such an interesting response from everyone that we on the 3rd day we're in the hotel and saw we had an email for another conference a week later, so we flew out a week later. So we just came back day before yesterday from that. I think we're going to try and get to Singapore in early February, and then there's another one in Dubai in March. And a couple of others I think we've got our eye on. We'll have to check out the Telegram channel and the social feeds for that, but I've got a funny feeling there's going to be a horrifying amount of travel in the next couple of months. But I think Singapore is going to be the next one, then Dubai again.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds really good, mate. Well, what it is, well, guys, Andy, ICO Review, he has done a review of Acorn, Acorn Colective. So guys, check out his video. He'll give you an overview, an insight into Acorn, as well as this video as well. And also me and Andy have made a community channel together called Nebula. So guys, if you feel like coming and jumping in and saying hello, we'd love to have you there. So Edward, mate, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate. See you later, Edward. Catch you later, mate.
Thanks a lot.
Bye, mate.
Cheers.